AskReddit by Bumithiji Antintita. What are some subtle signs a person is not quite alright mentally? Personal hygiene is usually for me a sign something ain't alright. This is one of the things I started to notice went south before I started to plan to end my life. Just stopped caring if my hair was washed at all. Bipolar and depression are a bitch. Difficulty to make simple decisions. Hypersensitivity of any kind of criticism. Rejection sensitivity dysphoria, my old friend. Speech patterns are a good indication. Mania can make people talk really fast, or depression can make people not speak at all. How they speak, the words used, can also indicate issues. It's best to just ask if they're okay. Also going in really long circles before they get to the point of a really basic question, like where were you born or what's your job title. I've encountered a couple of people with this. They seem totally normal at first, but at some point you realize you're trapped listening to a story with no point, no break, and no end in sight, and somehow you can't redirect them. One was recovering from a stroke and the other was narcoleptic and I think had some other disorders too. My brother is very repetitive. He will ask you something, you'll answer. The conversation around you will continue and a few minutes later he will ask again, maybe a little different. This will happen again and again, him asking the same question in a different way with long pauses in between, almost as though he's trying to get you to answer a certain way. Eventually he will just get up and leave the room, dissatisfied. Sometimes he will text me days later, confirming my answer to the question. It's so fucking weird but harmless. He's diagnosed schizophrenic. I once had a job where I cared for the animals, bird aviaries and fish tanks, on display in memory care homes, and this one place I serviced had a resident who would sit there and talk to me the whole time I worked. Every 10 minutes or so she would ask me how long the gestation period of the birds is, and I'd answer her question every time. Haha. I miss you, Dottie. Isolation from other people. Little to no social battery because in their minds they think they are bothersome to people or that other people would not really notice them gone anyway. I feel so called out but so seen at the same time. For me, it's isolation. I haven't been okay in years, so now I work nights and barely interact with anyone. I've become so isolated. I don't even know how to integrate back into society or communicate properly. Appetite is also an indicator. When I stop eating and lose weight rapidly, something is very wrong. I'm usually hoping for death by starvation. Where do you work? Just out of curiosity. Ever talk to someone for a while, like know the guy for months, and realize one day you don't really know anything about them? Can't recall them ever mentioning a family member or even a favorite color. Maybe you went out to eat a few times and they always insisted you pick the restaurant. Like they're scared to let you know anything about them. They're perfectly friendly, get you to talk about yourself, listen to you ramble about your hyperfixations, but when you try to talk to them about them they suddenly don't have anything to say. I've met a few people like this and most of the time I never figure out what's up, but a few times I've gotten them to open up about being bullied or emotionally abused as a kid. As a kid I learned if something was important to me it was a target of my abuser. It took decades to declare a favorite color. It was observant, patient friends like you that helped me learn to trust again. As someone who's been there and seen others suffer, I have some to contribute. Sudden changes in behavior. Reckless behavior. Lack of motivation. Very high highs and very low lows. Mood swings. Changes in appetite, over/under eating. Common signs of mental illnesses. For example, bipolar personality disorder or borderline. Lives in filth and squalor. Severe depression and other mental illnesses impair your executive functioning and motivation, so tending to basic hygiene and cleanliness is extremely difficult. If you know someone who has been really depressed and suddenly they seem very happy, it can be a sign that they decided they are going to kill themselves and are happy with their decision and glad it will all be over soon. Double the concerns if they start offering you stuff. I don't need it, use it anymore. When they adopt a religious mindset that is closer to superstition about every single thing in life. I'm not disparaging all religion, but when a person starts thinking the Archangel Gabriel is walking in their garden when the branches move and the wind, or attribute absolutely every single thing, like a napkin falling, to God's plan, something is wrong. I am a diagnosed schizophrenic, and this is how my mindset was when it got really bad right before I got on medication. I literally thought that when I was looking at my shadow I was talking to the devil. I am not enjoying this post, lol. Same. The answers are really attacking Neil Mayo. They have a very short fuse before exploding, often for relatively innocuous reasons. This is me. I am usually pretty chill, but sometimes I just completely snap for no particular reason, and the person I become in that moment is a stranger to me. It scares the shit out of me. I guess there is constant anger simmering under the surface, but the way it explodes or the triggers is so unpredictable. I recently threw a pen across the room because my earphones weren't charging properly. Like what? Not always, but slight comments that are insults to their own character. A bit of self-deprecation could be chalked up to acknowledging how you act sometimes, but if it's constant and nearly all the time, then maybe check in on them. If someone checks in on people a lot, they might either be a worrywart, just care a lot about their friends, or perhaps just looking for a bit of help themselves, but want to make sure nobody else needs it, too. I do this because I was a fat kid growing up and I saw a movie, Roxanne, which as an adult I found out was a retelling of Cyrano de Bergerac, where the title character used self-deprecating humor to make fun of himself as a defense mechanism. I saw the movie and thought, wow, if I can cut myself down before someone else can, maybe they'll get bored of making fun of me and move along. I did this so much and so often I don't know how to turn it off. Folks who consistently lose their composure and get angry at the drop of a hat whenever they face any kind of criticism or challenge. I work with someone like this, and it's stressful to be around her. She's awesome when she's not in that frantic, pissed off state. Reading some of these comments, I think I got some issues. It's my party and I'll cry if I want to. They lie a lot. Posting a lot of motivational quotes on social media. Things about not engaging with toxic people, etc. People who post non-stop inspiration, anti-drama, and healing posts are the most dramatic people around. A lot of people might say to look out for people who are weird, but the real sign is to look out for people who lash out randomly. As someone who recently lashed out randomly and has no idea why, I would agree with people like that. Just let them know they have a problem and let them heal. Thinking they have more control over others than themselves. Overly angry. Looking for any little mistake from the world around them to justify their anger. Inability to apologize. The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Alternate timeline Naruto. Impulsiveness. It seeps into every crevice of their lives. Whether in relationships, identity, decision making, money. They are literally unsettled mentally. Will drop people just as fast as they bring them in. I should remember not to be unstable at the driving exam. Brain fog. Insomnia. Running multiple social media accounts. Delusions of grandeur. Skin picking and starving yourself. I learned that in romantic relationships, when someone is very overly affectionate one day and then completely cold the next for no apparent reason, it is a sign they could have a personality disorder. I sadly thought this was normal behavior for a long time. Dated someone with BPD. As soon as their sleep cycle was messed up, there was an extreme change in their behavior. I really wish things could have worked out.